whip up some creative things sometimes. And it's just this notion of like I'm allowing everything in my workspace to become almost like I see things as barbering sometimes. And I'm sure you might see certain things you do as like something else that
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
learned before and you can kind of adapt your ways into it. So let's say like I was thinking of washing my car, bro. That was a thing where like I'll take it to the little car wash with the power wash and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
foam brush, and then I see it as like a haircut in a lineup.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I after I'm a barber and then I do something else that's unrelated to barbering, but it's like okay, we're gonna prep the car with the soaps. We're
Uh-huh.
gonna brush it and get it nice and messy, right? And da da da. But then once it comes time to detail and line it up, now I'm getting in there and
Yeah.
wiping it down, scrubbing off the little bird poop, whatever little shit that I didn't get the first time. And it's just this thing of like it's similar to writing an essay. I see barbering as literature, like writing an essay. And I
Yeah.
had this. I came up with this analogy through talking to my father about it. But
Uh-huh.
I was just telling him I was like, like there's steps to it because it's like you write an essay because you know how to write an essay, 5 paragraphs, whatever. That's your rough draft. So I'm not gonna submit a rough draft though. I'm gonna proofread it, and sometimes it takes a second pair of eyes
Yeah.
to even get that essay to the next level. And
Mm-hmm.
so with the haircut, it's like in order to be really time efficient, you don't want to like spend too much time detailing one side for too long because you still have another side to do.
Yeah.
So it's like let's just lay down the foundation, rough draft it,
And build.
trim it up and everything, style it out almost to the point where let's get them out the door, and then let me go ahead and revise it and come up with that final draft before I even show them that mirror. So because that's how you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
little shit like that where I'm like, okay, once I start seeing like that, so it's like with my car, I'm like, okay, or let's say at work, what I'm saying is like if I'm gonna clean some or like let's say I'm prepping something. If
Okay.
I'm prepping some food, that's cutting hair, or at least it's the nitty gritty. So I'm like, all right, boom, 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 getting messy. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, the food's prepped, put it away.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have little crumbs and everything that I need to clean up. I will. I learned it through food and work that I
Yeah.
learned how I could make such a big mess to
Yeah.
really do what I need to do, and then just clean it out like as good as possible, and then not worry too much about trying to stay neat and clean while I'm cooking. Cause it's like, fuck it, bro. We want to make sure this tastes good. We're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to make sure it's just nice and clean because it's gonna make it easier to clean up later.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just do what it do, and then if I happen to splash a little something and get it on the wall or on the floor, I'm not worried about it right now because I'm in this.
Yeah.
So then that's the rough draft of it, and then after that's done, after the foundation's set, now it's like, okay, let me go ahead and get my little soap and my rag or my bleach. Let me wipe it down and get in there and da da da, and then have the broader picture of like like okay, now everything's nice and clean, like a whistle, and it's like no one was even there. And then that's this whole. That's like why I was telling you, I was like, bro, I believe in my work ethic in my hands because I could make a mess and then clean it up. And my whole thing is always like my parents taught me, it was like leave a place better than you found it.
Yeah.
So you go out to eat, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if whatever the case was, like by the time I'm done eating, I want to wipe it down just because I don't want to leave it worse than when
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
there. So it's just little shit like that. So I'm like, okay, when I work, when I get down, if I'm at the prep table or you know what I'm doing, or if I'm over here and you know where I'm at and what I've got going on with it, by the time I walk away and I say like I'm done over there, like it helps me to be able to turn my back towards something when I already know I left it better than how I came. So then
Mm-hmm.
it's like pe-
You found the peace.
exactly. So it just feels so good to do that. And then I just tie it back into the barbering because it's like sometimes
I'm tying
it's
it into shaping a human, shaping a life.
life and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just so rewarding because I then when I go back into barbering, I see it as like okay, a lot of work, but
Yeah.
let's go ahead and debulk the shit. Let's get the fade going, and then now let's go ahead and look at that lineup and try to make it perfect and everything like that because it needs to be perfect. We don't have wiggle room to just be, but like before I even get into this lineup, let me make sure you have no hair on you. Let me brush it all off. Let me make sure your shit's all nice and cool. And it's like my favorite thing recently.
That's so cool how you're explaining it,
You know what
bro.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I used to there's this concept that I love, bro, and I'd love to share with you. And I I saw it as like PPEE, but someone else opened my mind. He's like, oh, the 6 Ps. I was like, what is that? But for me, I broke it down to the 4 little letters, little acronym where it's like proper preparation equals, oh shit, 3 E's. Proper preparation equals excellent execution. You feel me?
Ah.
But the other way around it, the guy who was like, oh, that's like proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Piss performance.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's another way to look at it. But in my opinion, it's just like across the board, everything we do, if you set yourself up for success the right way and take your time to like, especially it helps when you have experience where it's like, we need to have the lights because you've already done a podcast or two before where you didn't have the lights and you're like,
it doesn't look that good.
And yeah, exactly. So then proper preparation where it's like, okay, I have all these things set up already in the places where I need to go. That way I have the piece and I don't have to worry about that, like making the adjustments as we go. It's just like, okay, let's just go ahead and execute now.
Yeah.
So it's like when I set up at school, like,
wow, bro. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. It's just so important because it's like, if I don't properly prepare myself for the day, if I don't have the things that I needed, like, I won't be able to execute to my fullest potential because I'll be running around trying to go this, and that. But then, those times where you actually properly prepared, you just feel so good. It's smooth sailing all the way to the end. And then it's just like, great.
Yeah.
Boom.
Like as a man, you have to be able to break yourself down, go through the struggle, go through the discipline. You gotta, always be working as hard as it gets. You gotta be able to show up all the damn time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how you said it. You gotta build that foundation first,
bro.
And that's by adding a whole bunch of talents, really getting to know like what's going on within the hair, right? Or within your life, in my case, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, this is the foundation. I built it pretty nice. Now I can go in and clean up some little stuff that I still don't want in there. The little hairs, get it all out.
Yeah.
But then I start going into the finer detail. I've already gathered all this other stuff for this foundation, and now it's just time to execute.
Now it's time to build and shit.
Yeah.
Because you can't build on a poor foundation or a rocky foundation. So